Hello, I am Olivia Splendorio, and I am a money coach, an intimacy coach, and a vaudeville performer. What? What do these things have to do with each other? Well, that is what I am coming in here today to give the little cliff notes of how I got here, and then I would love to hear how you all got here. I went to a fancy schmancy college. I thought I was going to be an international diplomat, and then I ran away to join the circus. For real. Really, truly. I lived on a train with the Ringling brothers, and in all my years of science and math schools and accelerated school programs, much less as a circus performer, no one ever taught me about finances. For 2 decades, I lived in a cycle of debt, only to get myself out of debt and then build it back up again. And it wasn't until I got married at 37 or 8, I should know what age that was, that I finally had to really wake up and make real decisions. We were living in a very undesirable living situation, and we felt we needed to buy a home, partly for my partner's young child, but also so we'd have an anchor in our lives. And it was this kind of stability that we had never experienced before, both being traveling performers. But as you might imagine, as circus performers trying to transition into normal life, we both had very atypical financial histories. So that made convincing a bank to give us a mortgage very tricky. And to be honest, like many of the women I now work with, I knew the entire home buying process was going to mostly fall to me. All the paperwork, making sure our credit scores were as high as possible, ultimately making sure we didn't default on our mortgage if we ever got one. These were all going to be my responsibilities, and I did not want to be the one to F it up. I had heard that there existed something called a money coach. All through my traveling days, I'd stop in at banks across the country and proudly show them my paycheck and ask, okay, can I have a mortgage? And I had brokers laugh at me. I had them ask incredulously, you know you're going to need parents or someone to co-sign, right? I even had an advisor tell me, well, if you want to keep performing, then you just have to marry rich. And that was the financial advice that I was supposed to be grateful to have received. So, on the precipice of our taking on the biggest commitment of our lives, buying a house, which, yes, I do think is a bigger commitment than marriage, but maybe that's another video for another time, I hired a money coach. We were newly married. We had a lot going on. We both had new jobs that did not involve flipping upside down, so we were also having identity crises. We were in the middle of grounding our blended family. There were international custody courts, legal stress, a lot of things, and we couldn't have money be another thing that we were stressed about, conflicted about, grappling with. So our coach set us up with systems that my husband and I could both articulate to each other and be on board with together. She taught us new ways to think about savings. And then surprisingly, she got us to a new level of intimacy. We weren't keeping score anymore. We weren't tallying spreadsheets to see who owed whom what and if things were even or fair. Well, we got a bank. We convinced a bank to give us a mortgage. And I thought, if this money coach lady could teach us literal flighty trapeze artists to make savings plans, to make earnings plans, make spending plans, then this was something that could be taught, which never occurred to me. I thought you were either good with money or you weren't, or you had learned about money from your family and you were set up well, or you weren't. I didn't realize there was a set of skills, a set of perspectives that people can be taught. And so I wanted to help other people learn it. I had always been a coach, from teaching circus to teaching Mandarin Chinese, and embodiment was always a core part of what I had the honor to pass on to students. I was a Pilates teacher, obviously, all of the acrobatics. And then I had also been learning from Mama Gina. She's one of my mentors, a feminist icon, a huge leader in the embodiment world since 2006. And the truth was, at this point when we were getting this house, what I really, really wanted was to be a pleasure coach like she was. But I didn't trust myself. And I have since learned that flow of how we learn to trust ourselves with money, we learn to trust ourselves with our futures, and it's this spiral that really interconnects. So at the time, training and getting certified as a money coach seemed more legitimate. I started my 2-year-long training as a financial recovery counselor, and the idea that it was ever going to somehow lead me back to my embodiment work was nowhere in my thinking. I thought that in the money coaching process, I'd work with other actors and performers who'd also never been taught about money. But what I found out was that there are hundreds of thousands of couples out there that want to be having easier conversations about money. And as I started working with couple after couple, this is who kept calling me, I started seeing how lifting their money stress improved every area of their lives. Their sex lives were improving. They were making dates with each other where they both felt seen. They were becoming clearer in their parenting with their children. They found new levels of appreciation with each other, for each other. And as they let their money conversations with each other flow more easily, they began giving and receiving to each other more deeply. This was my light bulb moment. Money stress and money conversations created a level of intimacy that other coaches just didn't know how to address. I mean, therapists don't get taught how to guide couples in money conversations. Relationship coaches often work from a place of fixing communication that they hope will trickle down to the money talks, but that rarely happens without specific steps and tools that the couple can be taught. So what initially felt like these two different worlds of mine started melding for me. And my mentor, Mama Gina, opened her program to train other pleasure coaches. And so I am now not only a certified financial recovery counselor, but also a triple certified pleasure coach. And then I started blending these two levels of experience I had gathered, and I finally saw what money and intimacy coaching have to do with each other. Everything. I mean, sharing a life together means sex, love, communication, trade-offs, tough conversations, everything in between. And whether you're constantly fighting about money or silently stewing about money, what energy is left after that? Because if you're not connected intimately, then tougher conversations can get stuck in limbo land, and that's where you can get into real trouble with money when things aren't clear. So now I've been researching for years, and in my work with couples on their financial fitness, I have seen as dramatic an effect on their relationships as I have seen in mine. Now, am I perfect and my relationship every day is rainbows and gluten-free waffles? No. Did our money coach snap her fingers and we instantly had no problems anymore? No. But are we constantly getting closer to the lives we envision for ourselves? Are we more and more comfortable with our money? Do we keep feeling closer and closer to each other? 100%. And the same is true for my clients. Now, everyone has their own starting point. Some couples come to me wanting more fun. Some more trust, some more sex, some less sex, some different sex. Some want more ease with each other. For others, they come to me from that place of money stress that makes all those other elements really difficult to address. So that's what I do now, is I get to help couples have more fun and feel closer and feel more optimistic and have their concerns not be running numbers in their head trying to figure out how they're going to make the next bill work. So that's how I got here. It's how I became a money coach and an intimacy coach while I still get to perform my one-woman shows. And I want to know how you got here, what you want from this money intimacy coach world. And most excitedly for me, I want to know what you've experienced in any of your relationships regarding intimacy, receiving, tough conversations, trust, all of it. So, if you think this is an important topic for more people to hear about, I hope you will press the like button, and that you will subscribe. Maybe it's down here, wherever the subscribe button. That really helps more people hear about this and start to learn for themselves how fun and intimacy and money commingle. So, stay tuned. Goodbye for now.